We are here. What's up?
And we're recording. Woo!
Recording. Yes, we are. We're live. We're really live, Monte.
We're live and alive. Yes. Good to be alive.
Live and alive. It's a blessing. Amen to that. Love it. What's going on, Monte?
We're here. We're ready to go for another episode of Get Found
and Be Seen.
Woo!
A little twist right there.
I like it.
Cool.
Pause. A little
pause.
Pause.
I like that. A little power in the pause. Yes, it's important to know about that too, right?
Absolutely. That's another show.
That's another show. It is. Yes,
well,
indeed.
this show,
yes,
just another episode.
Another episode. Yeah, same show. Absolutely. Welcome, everyone.
Welcome.
We're excited to be back. Happy Monday.
Another Monday.
You
know, I've often said I want to give up Fridays so I don't have to have Mondays. But it doesn't really work. Mondays still have that feel. Still have that feel, that Garfield feel.
Garfield. Wow, you brought me back. Garfield. Woo.
Uh-oh, aging myself.
Garfield. I think about Garfield and then I think about Heathcliff. Do you know about Heathcliff?
Good old Heathcliff.
Okay. Yep. Heathcliff. Yep. Yeah.
Right on.
Glad Monday's here. Full weekend. But Monday's here.
Ready for the week. Building some momentum.
Going on.
A lot of people
building momentum.
Wednesday's like the hump, like you're going uphill, but I'm trying to feel like I'm the whole week's gonna build momentum. Carry me right into the weekend.
Right. Yeah, I want to hit my Monday like boom and then kind of
Yeah. Because otherwise you're like struggling. Oh, right. And then finally you feel like, I like you said, boom.
Right. And coast. That's it. It's a mindset. Let's go.
Awesome.
Yes,
so
indeed.
Today, what do we got today?
Today we're going to talk about videos. Not just videos though. Short form videos.
Ooh.
And the power of the short form video. 60-second videos, as a lot of people call them.
Or less than 60 seconds.
Well, less than 60 seconds. Right. Correct. So, yes. And now, Monte, you're thinking related to websites or just in general? Oh, that's the question.
Well, I was thinking, got to touch base in general because we had to identify this is a I wouldn't say fad, because it's getting results. It's not just things people are doing. People are doing them because they're working, and it's because society has evolved into this fast track pace. So these short videos are really catching attention. But then you take that thing, and we can expand on that. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But first, let's talk about those 60-second videos. What's your take on that?
What's my take on 60-second videos? I think they're important, especially during this time. When you think about organic marketing, when you think about even running ads, I've seen short 60-second videos or less than 60-second videos with ads and with organic marketing. I personally use them. We use them, and I personally love them. As one who coaches people with having an online presence, videos are so important. Videos have been important for a long time, but specifically during this time, short form videos, vertical videos, the ones that are tall for those who are thinking vertical videos. What? Those are very important.
this way, not this way.
Exactly, which is important, and it's important. It might seem very basic to some people, but it is important to break it down because when people are taking pictures or doing videos, you'll see them do this or this. So you got to give them the specifics and give them the directions on what they need to do. So I'm a fan. I'm a huge fan, and a lot of my business is based off of short form videos. I rely on them heavily on a day-to-day basis.
Well, you said something there with the orientation, and I just discovered, because I'm learning about this whole new craze that's coming out here, or been out for a little while, but you can't make a YouTube short, or is it a Facebook reel? Is it? I don't know.
Facebook reel, yeah.
One of those you can't make except in portrait form. You can't do it. You take the landscape, and then it'll make it really small, so there's a bunch of area above and below.
Right.
But there's some restrictions, is what I'm saying. So the people like me who are just getting started into those things, it's not just basic stuff. So
right.
Who is really, really versed, sometimes, just like with anything, you take some for granted. It's like, oh yeah, that's the way it works. That's the way it is. Yes.
Right.
And once I've learned that, I will be just like that. That's the way it works.
Right.
That's the way it works. Until I found that out, I struggled for a couple of weeks going, how come I can't, the selection's not there? What's going on here? And then I did a little Google research.
Smart man.
And figured it out. Rather than just wondering. I proactively figured it out. But you were also saying, videos have been important for a while. COVID had the big effect. When do you think that shift? Because I don't remember exactly when, but right there at the beginning of COVID, Facebook was saying, oh, your video is not 3 minutes long. We recommend you make a 3-minute long video. And now there's this whole thing about being less than a minute.
Right. And I think it's still like this even for Facebook, for example. If you do a reel for Facebook, it has to be around 30 seconds, less than 30 seconds. Interesting. Because if not, it might cut off after 30 seconds. I ran into that. It might have changed, but last I checked, it's still the same. But I've groomed myself to do videos under 30 seconds for Facebook.
Right.
Actually, matter of fact, I did put some 60-second. I need to go double check and make sure those worked out okay.
Right. Yeah. So there's the key there is that the different platforms have their own twist on things. Well, that's to be our short form, whatever we call it, you got to be under 60 seconds, under 30 seconds, or you got to have it in this in this direction, not that direction, or a bunch of different parameters that you have to figure out. But that also fits into the whole ideal customer, the avatar, and that sort of thing. Where are they at? What are they absorbing? And so maybe in your circumstance, you're going to focus on those 30-second videos across several different platforms. And maybe for myself, I'm going to focus on the 60-second videos on the platforms that accept the 60-second videos. The amount of information one is trying to portray also will affect that dramatically. There's a lot of things I couldn't really say the whole thing in 30 seconds.
Right. Exactly. And you hit a good point right there. Like you gotta, I love what you even talked about when it comes to the avatar. We keep coming back to that, which is super important. I have no regrets with that because it's important for people to understand who their target audience is, where they're hanging out at, and then go follow suit. Go where they're hanging out at, so you can have that conversation with them.
Yep.
So
because all the different topics we talk about aren't necessarily what everybody needs to go do.
Right.
You don't need to spend time going out onto every single platform.
Right. I mean, you might. That's what I find too. People are they're amped up. They're like, okay, I'm going on every platform. I'm gonna go on 3 at least or 4. But by the time they're really ready to hit the ground, they're like, okay, let me handle 1. And I'm cool with that. I'm like, hey, go get good at that one platform. Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with that. Nope. And then you could go follow up and do the other ones. Totally fine.
Yep. So I found myself, that's a really good description of myself. You know, as I first started getting started, I was like, okay, there's going to be all these platforms, and some of them are tied together a little bit. So you kind of like, oh, well, I should utilize that as much as possible. And I needed to focus. So that
Yeah.
picking one and getting familiar with it, at least familiar with it before you bother moving on to the next thing. Because if you're like me, you're going to be overwhelmed in no time. Oh my goodness.
Right.
This one calls it that. That one calls it this. This one's 60 seconds. This one's 30 seconds. Blah, blah, blah. And then you forget. I couldn't remember which name went with which company. It's like,
Right, exactly. And when you have a lot, and you have a business, and you have a lot going on, you don't have time to think about that, you
Right.
know? So it is very important to think about that. So I love when you talk. I love that you talked about the avatar. Super important. We'll keep talking about it. We'll
Oh,
keep talking about it.
it's integrated. You can't not
Integrated.
talk about it.
I like that. Great. Well put. Integrated.
It
You know.
is.
So and so it's when I even work with clients, what I just say is, look, just record your video, because one thing I like to do is batch videos, of course, and we'll probably get to this too. I'll say it real quick. Just record your video, so you won't have to think about whether you're going to do it vertical or horizontal. For reels and short form verticals, you should, but I try to make an easy button for people and say, just send me the video, and then we'll wrap it up and set it up in a way that's going to work for the vertical, and so they don't
Right.
even have to think about that. But in essence, you should do the vertical, because I say that too. Because what if, Monty? What if 2 months from now, 3 months from now, you want to repurpose that video, and then the rules change? I'm a fan to say it's always good to say horizontal, and then we could put it into a vertical. That's just a side. That's an aside right there,
I
right?
was going to ask you that. So that's good.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah. So that's a hack that I use, and that way the client doesn't have to worry about it. It's just just get me the video.
Right. Right. Yeah, because you can edit a video, and I guess my mind has always been on that. Well, that's yet another step. So I was trying to avoid that.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
repurposing brings new light into that concept. Instead of looking at it as, oh, there's this other step, I can look at it as, hey, now I can, increase the amount of content I put out with this one thing.
Right.
And you can
Very
expand
true.
on that a little further, like you said, to go ahead and just record stuff. Maybe you don't need to worry about making a 60-second video. Maybe it's better for you to go ahead and make the 3-minute video and then pull out snippets from it.
Right.
Edit them out, or use some kind of software that does it for you. I found that
Right.
Opus program, no affiliate, just saying, that Opus program is
Right.
really, really cool. I just use the free level just to mess around with it a little bit, but now I'm getting to the point where it's like, hey, I could utilize this a lot more and save myself a lot of time creating more content out of what I've already created.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I
It's
think that's
true.
important.
It's absolutely true, and it's good. Yeah, you want to use the tool, because think about it too. As time goes on, content's getting out there so much more faster. Even with the whole idea of AI, and people feel differently about AI. I'm a fan, by the way, but as long as it's used correctly, used right. But there's so much content that goes out, and it's hard to keep up. So if that's an extra step that people don't have to think about it and just repurpose that video, there's so many golden nuggets that people have, like speakers, authors. They might be doing a public speech at a live event, or something that was on a podcast. You could repurpose those clips into smaller chunks, under 60 seconds, you
Right.
know? And
Right.
I'm a huge fan of that as well. I personally, that's one of my favorite things to do. And I personally love looking and looking at the value that's given, because I like studying out human condition. And for a lot of us, we don't realize the amazing things that we say that can add value to someone's life. So every time I'm doing something for a client, or for myself, or for my wife, that she's doing stuff now, it amazes me. I'm like, wow, this is value right here. Did you not realize that? Whoa. And sometimes it's the things that some people don't expect. So for me, I'm just fascinated at that.
Yep. Well, that goes back to that taking it for granted thing. You don't
Right.
intentionally take it for granted. It's just because
Right.
it's become so comfortable for you that it's integrated in, and you
Right.
don't see that it's really a factor, but someone else is still trying to accept that or learn that or wrap their head around it. And
Right.
yeah,
You know, you know what saying that I've been thinking of lately? One man's trash is another man's treasure.
that's right. And then so it used to be that, okay, let me make this video and let me distribute it out on all these different platforms. And then we got to this point of, yeah, but now it's all the same thing. So, if someone sees it on here and they see it on there, then oh no, I'm flooding them. Well, of course, first, nobody hardly sees that much anyway, because there's so much other content coming out.
Exactly.
And there's the fact of, well, if they're on LinkedIn, they're probably not on Facebook or, as much, or so they're not going to see the same post there. But it's still a mental game. It's still that I'm putting out all the same thing across the board. So by repurposing, by taking snippets and putting those out across here and using the big one here and putting this on my website, and I can use the same material, and yet it's sprinkled out differently, so that if someone does come across it, it's not exactly the same. And so
Right.
maybe they sped over it on the first iteration, and then they see it again over here, slightly different format, and that stops them.
Right. Right.
So it increases your reach, and it increases your chances of finding the right combination to stop the person and get them to react.
Right. It's the right combination. Monty, I've had people engage with my content that I put out 90 days before. 90 days later, they engage with it. And part of me believes that even if you see something more than once, it takes multiple times for people to see your content to even engage with it sometimes. So I put something out 3 months, 6 months before prior, and then later on they're engaging with it then. And so that's new and fresh to them to some level.
Right. Or their
And then if you have
perspective.
their perspective, ooh, that's
So the
good.
first time around, it's like,
Yeah,
but then something happened in their life. And the next time around, they're like, oh, I felt that just last week.
right, right. So right on. So I don't know if I'd say it's all relative, but you got to keep putting it out there because, and you mentioned too, even if you're putting out content organically without the ads, you know, a lot of your audience will not see that video. Let's just, that's a
Right.
matter of fact,
Yep. Even people that are following you.
right?
Yeah.
So I think for a lot of people, they psych themselves out. We could psych ourselves out thinking, okay, well, the people are going to see that again. Oh no, put it out,
Yeah. Well, and
put it out.
sometimes that 6 months later is because something you put out made them go, whoa, they clicked on it. And then because they clicked on it, it had the next thing up shows something from the past, and they
Right,
spend a little time and engage with that also. So it's like,
right,
just because it didn't get anything the first time around or on that platform doesn't mean that it doesn't have value or that it's not being seen. There's another big thing too, is that there are a lot of people, and I'm one of them. So I see a lot of stuff. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. But I don't just like everything that comes across my screen. I know there are people that are
yeah,
like that they just like everything,
right,
you know.
yeah,
And you know, it probably doesn't make any difference on Facebook, but to me, my likes and my loves and my shares carry more weight. When I actually love something, it really means something. It's not just because I'm clicking all over the place.
right. Right.
So
That's important. Yeah, that's important. It's part of our human interaction with each other on social media. And I appreciate that because it's so easy to lose that. And you want to be able to keep that human interaction because at the end of the day, that's what it boils down to. I mean, some people, numbers and everything are cool and important. It has its place, but the basic human connection is important. Someone genuinely liking what you put out or loving what you put out, and it touches their lives. That's what we a lot of us want deep down inside. Some people just want whatever, number, money, whatever. That doesn't last,
no,
you know?
no. And we like to have that visual recognition, but just knowing that, just because I put something out there and it got 2 likes, I bet you there was at least 2 more people that did like it that just didn't click like.
Right. That's true.
Yeah.
And I know for me, sometimes, I'm trying to, but I'm trying to, in my mind, I want to get to the content and follow up, but I'm not able to. Sometimes my mind might be overwhelmed from a long day's work or whatever. And I'm one of those guys. Sometimes I don't take the time to like or love, but it's my intention to. Sometimes I'll double back and like it later on. But
Yep.
I'm one who needs to take in information and then let it absorb and then respond.
Well, and
That's
I
some of
just
my
had
work
this the other
sometimes.
day where I saw someone's post. I was like, "Oh, that's cute." And I skimmed through it. Well, then later on, I saw something. It made me think of that post, and it made me want to engage with it. And so I took my picture and I went back and found that post and made my comment and put my picture on it. So here's that thing of, no, I didn't engage with it immediately, but because I'd seen it and it was in my brain, something else happened that caused me to want to engage with it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And you're good with that, Monte. You're good with engaging. It seems like that's a strength of yours, a good strength of yours.
Well, thank you. It's not super intended. It's just part of me, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess it's that carrying weight, because there's other times when people tell me, they're like, "Well, you don't have much to say."
Mm,
I don't have anything important to say, anything worthy of saying. I don't just
right.
yickety yak chitty chat for absolutely no reason.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're doing it, man. Making that impact and giving that value.
Well, let's wrap this back around. We were talking about 60-second videos. So and then we were talking about how the 3 to 5 minute thing was the prevalent.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit and we had a lot of people at home. And at first, people had time. It seemed like in the first 8 months of COVID lockdown, that 3 to 5 minute videos were still strong.
Yeah.
But then people wanted, because I don't know exactly why, but I feel like people wanted that more and more and more and more. They wouldn't watch the entire 3 to 5 minute videos. And I
Yeah.
think that's because all the people that look at the metrics, all the big companies, primarily because they have all the money invested into these metrics, they started noticing, hey, there are a ton of 30-second views on all of our 5-minute videos and all our 3-minute videos. People are only watching for 30 seconds. Well,
Yeah.
we should pack the most important stuff, like the call to action, into
Right.
the 30-second portion.
Right.
And so
Yeah.
then we started getting those shorter videos, and they're coming out on your reels and your shorts and all these other little platforms.
Right.
But what I haven't seen a lot of, and there's probably some out there, but it's not a huge trend that's just in my face that I'm seeing, is these shorts directly on websites.
Yeah.
So right now we're seeing, okay, you got your web page and there's a picture and there's some text and you scroll up and then there's maybe a GIF with a little animated thing, and maybe there is a
Right.
video, but they're usually an explainer video and they're usually
Hmm.
3 to 5 minutes long, either a little cartoon thing or maybe it's a slideshow type of thing. But they're still in that same explainer video category.
Yeah.
And so let me get my notes here to see where I was going with that. Sales video, and then the sales video. We still
Sales
see the sales
videos.
video. So you'll see those for 3 to 5 minutes long on a sales funnel page, but they have a specific
Mm-hmm.
and that's probably not going to change.
Yeah.
But I think they are getting a little shorter. I think
Agreed.
the average is 3 to 5 minutes rather than 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah. I got to show you my new one, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you that one. Under 3 minutes.
Ooh,
Under
nice.
3 minutes. I was like, yes. Yeah.
So,
That's agreed. I'll let you go. Go ahead.
oh, I was just going to move on with
Yeah.
the social media shorts, the YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, etc.
Right.
It's those are obviously doing very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
The
Right.
one thing about them though that's kind of like, well, on a business side of things, if you're using these shorts to grab attention to you, you got that 30 seconds maybe, because the Reels is already has in line, and it even has a little spot telling you what's up next, so that you can go to the next thing instantly. So that's where the website is a kind of a neat thing, because if you get them to the website, that you don't have any of that clickbait going on, trying to get you to go on to something different. You've harnessed them into your website. You've got all of their attention, and anything else that might be squirreling them away is something else on your website. So that's a good strategy to also have. Not replacing, definitely not replacing, but if you have them available on your website also.
Right. I must say too, it's all, and add to that, and it is important to test it out, in my opinion, for the person putting the content out, or the company putting the content out, because I've heard multiple things. And so for me, I decided to test it out. But the multiple things I've heard are, hey, don't put your website on the short form video, because whatever platform, the algorithm will notice it and you'll be shadow banned. Or, I've heard different things like that, but I'm one to think, you know what? Let me test it out for myself to see. So I do a mixture. I'll put my website on, and it works for me, But for some people, it might not work. And also to think about this, different platforms, there are different variations of the platform. That's a whole other topic.
Right. Well,
so
you can easily avoid any kind of that. Hey, this video is, the algorithm says, oh, I see it over there, so now I'm going to block it here, or any of that nature, by making specific videos for your website. So you put some videos up on your platform, and those are available there, and you have links from your website to those. But you also have some other stuff on your website that's only available on your website to entice people to come to your website, And then there's that repurposing, where you have a 3-minute video on your website, and you have the snippet that's out there that leads them, catches their attention, and leads them to the full video.
Right. And I've always played it, and I'm specifically talking about each specific social media platform. For me, I usually say something like a follow for more. I've learned that, on my discoveries with the internet, on social media. So I'll say something like that, follow for more. But sometimes, I would put the website on just to test it out. But you're right, though. What I love about what you said, and reminds me of this: having a strategy, not just putting out for any reason. Just, you want to have a strategy with what you do, and learn how to direct people.
Yep.
Maybe mind map it out.
And so this is a strategy to look at, not you should add this to everything else that you're doing. This is just hey, we're always looking for pattern interrupts. We're always looking for something different. And there's you can try and invent something brand new, or you can try and make something that's already in existence more efficient, or faster, or easier, or whatever, and or just different. Again, we're in this society of pattern interrupts. So different is now valuable. It used to be, that's the same thing. It's just different. It's just packaged different. That's what marketing was. In fact, there are companies right now that produce a product in the one factory and then ship it out into 2 separate places where it gets labeled differently. And then it's put onto the store shelves in competition with itself. It's a marketing strategy, and because some people like the labeling and the message and the message about this brand, they choose that. And this one, they like the colors, or they like the font better. Who knows what the reasoning is? The company probably does. They put all the money into it, but the concept here is just that we know different is good.
Yeah, absolutely. Different. You say variation too?
Yeah. And there's that. I'm going to pull snippets out. It's one video, pull snippet out, put it on Instagram, take another one, put it out on YouTube, slightly different one. you know, or I'll use Opus and grab this one, so it's got the cool text thing going on, and then I'm going to grab
Right.
this one over here, or I'll grab the same clip, but now it's not going to go into Opus. Now I'm going to use it in something different, put music background. I don't know. Just the concept there is I can use the same content. I can dress it up a little different.
Right. Right.
And
That's
then you
true.
put it onto the website. So there was the next thing was that you can replace those images. So instead of having an image and text, you can put a little short form video. And you could either, that video might just be reading the text.
Right.
Or maybe the video will elaborate on what the text says.
Right.
You know, or maybe it'll just replace the text. Maybe it'll just be the short form video.
Right.
Although I still think in my experimentations that there are still people that are like, I don't have time to click and wait for you to talk all that out. I can glance through a paragraph in the amount of time it takes you to read 4 words. So I like to have the text there with the video, or at least in a what I call an accordion, or what is known as an accordion. So you click on it, and bloop, opens up, and then they can read it. So it doesn't take up as much room on the page.
Right.
But
Well, you could also put it in your blog too.
Right.
You could
Exactly. And then the same concept there of it could be just reading the blog. It could be reading the excerpt out of the blog, or it could be an additional, now that I've written the blog, I have these extra thoughts.
Right. And I even put it in my newsletter. Hey, you want to hear more about this? Click the link. Short form video to describe something. Boom.
Right.
Works.
And there's that strategy. Okay, now is that one the type of thing, since it's in my newsletter, maybe that one is the one I should link to my website. Put that one on my website. Since it's in my newsletter, I want to direct them where I want them to go. I need stuff out on Instagram because people are going to find it just because they're out there.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But when I'm directing them, that's a good time to think about that strategy and say, is this the right time to direct them to my website? Can I capitalize on that with this link? My newsletter was about this topic. This goes to this short form video, which then calls to action for them to buy this thing. Oh, that's great for my website.
Right. Right. And that's good. I'm glad you mentioned that point too, because you could ask yourself, hey, as far as a strategy, where do I want people to go to the most? Do I want people to go to that Instagram page? Do I want people to engage more with the email, which will lead people to the Instagram page, the short form video, or the website? Do I want more people to get to the website? These are good things to think about as far as strategy.
Right.
So yes.
Yeah. And I think that you need a multitude of strategies. I think that because things are changing and evolving all the time, that even if you find the strategy that's like, oh, this is perfect, it's so efficient, it's working, it's 88% conversion rate. This is, how long before that changes?
Right.
And so if you have several strategies going, they can all help support each other. And as one fades out, another one will grow stronger. And sometimes you'll find it's like, oh, that's not working. It's not worth my time anymore. I'm going to stop that strategy and I'm going to adopt this other one instead.
Right.
And coming back to that, everybody's different.
Everyone's different. And honestly, I'm glad we're talking about this even with strategy and even with short form videos, because honestly, I'm kind of surprised that short form videos have lasted this long. I didn't think it'd last this long personally. I'll be honest. But then I'm like, well, I need to adapt. This is the thing for a lot of people.
Right. And there is talk about that. Well, how long? Because they keep getting shorter and shorter. Well, there's a breaking point. I mean, what a 1 second video? I mean, what are you going to do with that? And so I think I mentioned this to you personally, and this is a nugget to really think about on the critical thinking category. Is that we as a species become accustomed to things. And so then we talk about this pattern interrupt. We're always trying to break the pattern that people are accustomed to. Well, when in the timeline will we be accustomed to 60-second videos, and therefore the 3 to 5 minute videos are the pattern interrupt?
You did mention that. That's right. You never know.
Or maybe it won't be 3 to 5 minute videos. Maybe it'll be something different. Maybe it'll be, back to GIFs or photos, or maybe it'll be, well, now AI picture generation is increased to the point now where it's really usable
Right.
by the masses, not just by a few.
Right.
And
Good
so
point.
therefore, again, it's what will be the next pattern interrupt. And if we as marketers just keep our radar out there, okay, here's what's happening. The 3 to 5 minute videos are fading. The 60-second videos are coming in. All right. Now, if you're the person that watches the metrics, maybe that'll be the way you'll start seeing, oh, I have a 30-second video and people are only watching 15 seconds of it. Or, my 30-second video views in the last month went from X to half of X. It's like, oh, that's an indicator. That's something
Right.
saying I need to look at this.
Right. Yeah, or that, this could be that. It could be also the context of a content. What if people are kind of getting bored of, if it's the same thing, as if it's repetitive, if you don't mix it up, if you don't change it up, if you
Right.
don't mix with other types of content, so many variables. That's interesting though, what you mentioned. It's when will it, that's a good hook, by the way, too. When will it change?
Mm-hmm.
Will it change? It's something to think about. What lesson I get from that, Monty, is that's why it's important to always test it out. It's
Right.
important to always test things out, because that way you'll have a pulse. The way to have a pulse is to keep trying and keep testing it out and being like a mad scientist in the lab.
Right. Yep. And then back to that, hey, even if you found that recipe that was perfect, people will become accustomed to it. Things
Right.
will change. One of the resources that you use to make it will not be available, something beyond your control. And if you don't have a menu with some other items ready to rock, you're going to be hot.
I love that. You said ready to rock. You know what word I was thinking about? Flexible. You got to be flexible.
Yep.
You got to be flexible because it could change. And you got to be ready. You got to be ready
Things
to
are
adapt.
changing faster and faster. It's
As we
no
speak.
longer a will it change. It's just when will it change, and
Right.
how much will it change? Sometimes changes are just a little bit, not that big of a deal. Just adjust your heading a little bit. And other times it's a big, huge, cassette tapes are gone. What?
Right. 8-track. What? Remember those?
Oh yeah. So let's see here. What else did I have about short form videos on the web? I mentioned replace entire sections if you have a big, huge section of text. And again, maybe not replace, maybe just add that video in there. Gives a person a secondary way of absorbing the information. And another neat thing with any video, and the fact that now if we're going to add a short form video in there, you put links right in the video.
Right.
So your call to actions become, dare I say, more powerful. Because a call to action with text and a call to action in a video with audio and visual,
Right.
I think it's just more powerful.
Right.
And then
Absolutely.
I thought, well, what if you had a big section of text? Well, it would be a series of little videos. And then it would be similar to that platform experience where they click on the first one and it opens it up and then it plays through each one.
Right. Oh, Monty, you're really big on these websites, huh?
Websites. Oh yeah, I know about websites. I've heard about those.
Yeah.
And then there's that whole concept of, well, just make a whole page that's all of your videos. And that way people can consume as much of it as they want, as long as they want, without going elsewhere. And you can section it out and categorize it and make it a good user experience for people, so that when, if you think about how people are wanting to absorb your information, maybe even go out on the internet and try and find that information that you're giving. And for me, I go and I find, and it's like, oh my gosh, this guy took 5 minutes introducing himself and stuff before he even got to the point. The name of the video was the answer to this question. And it's a 6-minute video and 5 minutes of intro.
Right.
So it's like, okay, I'm going to make sure that I make all my videos concise. If it says the
Right.
answer to this, that's what's on there. 60-second video,
Right.
short form. And
Right.
I think that's going to be a powerful thing right there, is to create your own answer page with short form videos.
Ooh.
You
Ooh.
think about the frequently asked questions. Well, just take that a step further and just make it the answer page where you're doing short form videos answering the questions. And of course, the text is there if people want to read it. Or, sometimes they've got people in the room, they can't have the audio on or something. So you want to give them the opportunity, the alternative,
Right.
be flexible.
Right.
But that was just
Oh, I
another
love that.
great way, making a answer page.
That's smart. That's smart to engage with your audience, your people, and it shows how much you're invested in them and how much value you want to give to them and help them and see them win, see them get to their finish line.
Right. Because it's all value there. You go to a
Right.
page and it's like every single thing is value. You go on YouTube and you have the whole, I'm introducing myself because maybe this is the first video this person's seen. So I need to let them know who I am and why they want to listen to me. It's like,
Right.
well, after I've listened to 2 of your videos and I've listened to your intro twice, I'm either clicking through trying to find where you're getting to the point, or I'm just moving on to the next place.
Right. Ooh, Monty, I got one. This kind of relates to what you just said, but when you're onboarding a new client or you're onboarding a group of clients, if you have a group program, you send them to you do short forms, have it on your platform, whatever, with YouTube Shorts or whatever, and you have it embedded into your website to carry them through the steps. Now, the
And
challenge with that, you don't want to distract them from what they need to do to get onboarded.
no, but that's a good example because they're not just clicking around checking stuff out. They're onboarding.
Mm,
They have a purpose.
right.
The clickbait is
Purpose.
not as powerful in that circumstance. And those
Mm,
are great videos to have out on YouTube so that if someone does find them, they're like, well, that's how easy it is, or now I'm interested or something, and it can catch catch attention. And it's
mm,
easy to embed them on there. So again, that's that looking at it. Well, what's the purpose, and where do
mhm.
I want them to go, and what are they going to be thinking?
Right.
So that's that different mindset. In this circumstance, they are focused or more focused on onboarding. On other
Right.
circumstances, they're like looking for cool stuff. And my thing was kind of cool. They clicked on it. But if something else looks more cool or more flashy, then they're going to click on that. So then that's the
Right.
circumstance to say, how can I get them onto my website so I don't have them distracted?
Right. Right. Great point. Good stuff, man. Ooh,
And then
I
my
wasn't thinking
favorite,
about that.
and as I was coming up with all of these different ideas, so I had something to talk about here, it dawned on me. And I wrote it down exactly how I thought about it. About me page. Hello. The about
Whoa.
page. Short form videos describing who I am, why
Right.
I'm here, why you want to listen to me, what value can
Right.
I give you, what brought me here, my story. My goodness,
Right.
what better
Mm,
way for someone to get to know you than just listening to you describe the things that are important to them? So rather
right.
than reading through this whole thing to figure out, well, what schooling did they have? What was this? What was that? It's like you just have little short form videos. It's like
Right.
where I came from, why I'm here, what can I do for you, or what I
Mm,
can do for you.
right.
I just
That's
switch
good
those words
stuff.
around. You change that. What can I do for you, or what I can do for you?
Yeah. That flip it. Flip it.
Yeah.
Man, out of all you said, I love when you mentioned the FAQ. That right there. Phew,
Yeah. Again,
that's
in
a
that
gold mine.
looking at that critically thinking about the whole scenario. How do I
Hmm.
want them to receive the information, and what do I want them to do with
Right.
it when they get it? And then applying that. It's like, well, oftentimes a website will have a frequently asked questions,
Right.
and this is a great opportunity to put yourself in front of them. And then it
Right.
becomes more than just an answer. It's now you provided them the answer with some
Right.
context.
Yes. That's great. I love that. That's super creative. That is very creative.
That's taking that picture's worth 1,000 words, video's worth whatever more, and then looking at our websites have all these words. And I think they need the words because that's how Google finds out about them. You need the words, need all those words on there. But I think that we need to start offering an alternative way for people to digest the information that we're presenting.
Right. And we might as well do it because it's already happening.
It's already
Some
happened.
level.
Right. This
Oh
is
yeah.
not well, maybe, why don't you test this out and see if it's going to work? It's like, no, this
Yeah.
concept is already working. Let's apply
Yeah.
it towards other stuff and
Right.
and be on the cutting edge. Instead of saying,
Right.
oh, like right now, oh, look at all these short forms that are doing so well. They've been doing well for months now. We should
Right.
think about doing it. It's like,
Yeah.
well, yeah. And if we
Yeah.
had been ahead of the game, we would have been doing it months ago. But that's okay.
Right.
Just because we haven't been doing it for months doesn't mean we shouldn't start now.
Right. But that's very key too, what you said, see how we could apply it to other stuff. That's how you be creative. That's how you like that quote that Wayne Gretzky gave, you gotta follow the puck to where it goes. I totally didn't that's not exactly the way it was said, but to add on to that too, yeah, also ask yourself, where else can it go? Or what else can it do that would be effective?
Right.
I love that.
Yep. Here's the overlying strategy. How can I overlay that on other stuff?
Right. Right. I'm gonna apply that this week.
Cool. Me too. Somehow.
I'm looking at the FAQ. That's on my mind.
Yeah. So to keep that simple, wrapping that up, that whole concept, short form videos, test them on your website.
Right.
That's about as simple as you can get right there. It's all about testing. And as we've been hearing a lot lately, don't be afraid to fail fast.
Right. What do you got to lose? What do
Well, there's that.
you learn? You learn
I've
a
got a
lot
bunch of
along the
strategies
way.
going on. I know they can't all work great. So part of figuring out which ones will work great is by identifying the ones that aren't working. So
Right.
I want to fail. I've got 5 things going. I want to know the ones that are failing so I can stop putting energy into them.
Right.
Yep.
100%. That's good stuff, Monte.
That was fun.
That's fun. I like this one.
Yeah.
Love.
Making your mind stretch a little bit.
Got to stretch the mind on a Monday morning.
That's right.
That's where you're at.
Bam.
Afternoon, where I'm at. Boom.
Yeah.
If people want to find you, they're having the hardest time with their website. If they want to get videos up on their websites, but they're struggling with their websites and they need input, they need help, they need support, where can they go?
They'll find me at montearmstrong.com. You can scroll down at the bottom and use the newly fixed and verified, tested, and working correctly contact form.
Boom.
We'll throw in one last little thing. Test your websites regularly.
Yes, that's a bonus right there.
That was an extra bonus. That wasn't part of the episode, but we'll just throw that right on in.
Actually, you reminded me this weekend. Appreciate that.
So we're on these short form videos. If someone's trying to figure out, well, how do I make the short form video? What's the best platform? What kind of equipment do I need? How do I talk right? How can they figure out all the answers to all those questions and more?
They can go to carlaline.com where they can go all things Carl. You can find out that information. Be more than happy to help you and steer you in the right direction. Oh, right direction. Right direction. There you have it.
Awesome. Great show.
Great show. Talk to you soon.
Take care.